I believe today that my conduct is in accordance with the will of the Almighty Creator. That was a quote by Adolf Hitler in his book Mein Kampf, Volume 1, Chapter 2. Let's do this, yeah. Hey you, I'll kill you with my teacup. But first, what follows is from one of my hyperlinked articles that explains one of two infographics contained in said article. It says, when explaining that infographic, it says, it's clear that people with European ancestry are genetically distinct from those of Asians or African descent. But what's less obvious is that genetic variation also exists within European groups. In these plots from a study by Elmer Kinney, you can see the genetic variation between the major ancestral groups on the left and within a population on the right. Jewish groups fall into the European cluster on the left, but people with Ashkenazi, Nazi being in the name because they're German, so Jewish groups fall into the European cluster on the left, but people with Ashkenazi ancestry, blue, form a unique cluster that is largely distinct from Caucasian, called CEU, green, the green cluster, and other Jewish populations, which are various colors on the scatter plot that'll all be showing. So, which is on the right. All right, so they're a distinct group, Ashkenazi Jews. They're the blue. Green are standard Caucasian people. Individuals who are part of Ashkenazi fall in between the Caucasian and Ashkenazi clusters. Historian Percy Ernest Shuram, analyzing the recorded and transcribed table talk with his entourage, states that for Jesus as a savior, there was, of course, no room in Hitler's view of things, but he recognized Jesus' human greatness. Indeed, Hitler held Jesus in high esteem as an Aryan fighter who struggled against the power and pretensions of the corrupt Pharisees and Jewish materialism. There you go. Alright, that's what he thought about it. Although he was prepared to delay conflicts for political reasons, historians conclude that Hitler ultimately intended the destruction of Christianity in Germany, or at least its distortion or subjugation to a Nazi outlook, which is pretty clear. The aforementioned was from Religious Views of Adolf Hitler Wikipedia page. The following will be from the Alois J. Hitler Sr. Wikipedia entry. His father, Alois Hitler Sr., 1837 to 1903, was the illegitimate child, meaning bastard, of Maria Anna Schurkengruber. The baptismal register did not show the name of his father, Alois' father, and Alois initially bore his mother's maiden name, Stickengluber, I think it's called. Nazi official, making him the bastard of a single mother, Hitler's dad, right? And then Nazi official Hans Frank suggested that Alois' mother had been employed as a housekeeper by a Jewish family in Graz, and the family's 19-year-old son, Leopold Frankenberger, had fathered Alois. All right, that was a Nazi official a high-ranking Nazi official who said that. No Frankenberger was registered in Graz during that period, and no record had been produced of Leopold Frankenberger's existence. So historians dismissed the claim that Alois' father was Jewish, but no one says who his father was, so it's like, who was his father? I don't know. So Adolf Hitler, who was 13 when his father died, okay? My dad's dad left when he was about 12, and he went full gynocentric male. So Adolf Hitler, who was 13 when his father died, says in Mein Kampf that he died, that his father died of a stroke of apoplexy. In his book, The Young Hitler I Knew, Hitler's childhood friend August Kubizek recalled when the 14-year-old son saw his dead father, he burst out into uncontrollable weeping. Okay, I'm just saying. So Adolf Hitler indeed grew into a man. This is me talking. Adolf Hitler indeed grew into a man under the care of a single mother. Personally, just like his dad before him, personally, I'm not surprised in the slightest. This final set will be excerpts from an article entitled When Hitler Took Cocaine, and will be the body of this video. Hitler had long suffered from mental health, or rather, not mental health. Hitler had long suffered from ill health, including stomach cramps, diarrhea, and such choleric flatulence that he had to leave the table after each meal in order to expel vast quantities of wind. You heard me right. His condition was aggravated by his unconventional diet. He had forsaken meat in 1931. Seriously? After comparing eating ham to eating a human corpse. Henceforth, he ate large quantities of watery vegetables, pureed or mashed to a pulp. Dr. Morel, his doctor, watched the Führer at the time eat one such meal and then studied the consequences. Said the doctor, constipations and colossal flatulence occurred on a scale I have seldom encountered before, he wrote. He assured Hitler he had miracle drugs that could cure all of his problems. He began by administering little black pills called the doctor black pilled him. Okay, so he began by administering little black tablets called Dr. Kuster's anti-gas pills. Hitler took 16 a day, apparently unaware that they contained quantities of strychnine. Although they alleviated his wind temporarily, they almost certainly triggered the attention lapses and sallow skin that were a mark of his final years. Morel next prescribed a type of hydrolyside E. coli bacteria called Mutlafor, which seemed to further stabilize the Führer's bowel problems. He probably should have took like regular probiotics, but just saying, like dairy. Indeed, Hitler was so pleased with the doctor's work that he invited him to join the inner circle of the Nazi elite. Henceforth, Morel was never far from his side. For the record, I ran across a bunch of pretty much Nazi-worshipping white nationalists, okay? Being proud of your race is one thing. Being a socialist thief and a moron's another. So that's where this video was prompted. And Ashkenazi Jews are white, so white that, alright? Get white. Okay, so along with his stomach cramps, Hitler also suffered from morning grogginess. To alleviate this, Morel injected him with a watery fluid that he concocted from a powder kept in gold foil packets. He never revealed the active ingredient of this medicine, called Vitilium. Ooh. But it worked wonders on every occasion it was administered. Within a few minutes, Hitler would arise from his couch invigorated and full of energy. Ernest Gunther Schneck, an SS doctor, grew suspicious of Dr. Morel's miracle cures and managed to acquire one of the packets. When tested in a laboratory, it was found to be amphetamine. Now, my dad did a bunch of methamphetamine, and so did one of his girlfriends, and they beat the brakes off me a lot. But, so, I mean, and they would get crazy and suspicious, so I'm not the least bit surprised Hitler was on it. And all of them were raised by single mothers. Every person I just mentioned. So, Hitler was, see my earlier videos on single mothers, the Harambe effect specifically. Hitler was untroubled by what he was given, so long as the drugs worked. It was not long before he became so dependent on Morel's cures that he placed all his health problems entirely in the doctor's hands, with disastrous long-term consequences. He directed the invasion of Soviet Europe while being pumped with as many as 80 different drugs, including testosterone because he's effeminate, opiates, sedatives, and laxatives. 80 different drugs. According to the doctor's medical notebooks, he also administered barbiturates, morphine, bull semen, again, Nancyboy, and probiotics. Okay, so standard probiotics instead of just E. coli. Yikes. Okay, 80, all right? The most surprising drug that Dr. Morell prescribed to the Fuhrer was cocaine. This was occasionally used for medical ailments in 1930s Germany, but always in extremely low doses and at a concentration of less than 1%, okay? Morell began administering cocaine to the Fuhrer by means of eye drops. Aware that Hitler expected to feel better after taking his drugs, he put 10 times the amount of cocaine into the drops, which is about 10% of the drop. So such a concentrated dose may well have triggered the psychotic behavior that Hitler was to experience in his later years. Well, that and the meth, essentially, amphetamines. I call it meth madness. But my dad was already a psychopath before then. Arguably, so was the Fuhrer. So, what's up? Because I'm of the theory that drugs don't make you who you are, they make you more who you are. Like drinking. So, you get drunk and you're either a happy drunk or you're not. Or you're whatever. So the Fuhrer found cocaine extremely efficacious. I think I got the words right. So according to a cache of medical documents that came to light in America in 2012, not long ago, including a 47-page report written by Morell and other doctors who attended to the Fuhrer, Hitler soon began to crave the drug. And it was a clear sign that he was developing a serious addiction, as well as eye drops. He now began to snort powdered cocaine to clear his sinuses and soothe his throat. Cocaine may have induced a feeling of well-being, but it did not boost the Fuhrer's lack of sex drive. To overcome the embarrassing condition, in addition to his bull semen and testosterone, injections. To overcome this embarrassing condition, Morell, and if you look at him, he looks like he's never lifted weights in his life. And all these alt-right guys are like, yeah, he was so manly. No, he wasn't. You're a socialist, just like women folks and Bernie Sanders. And bastards of single mothers. And second-generation bastards of single mothers. For all I know, my grandpa was raised by a woman like my dad, just like Hitler's dad. To overcome this embarrassing condition, Morell began giving him injections. And these contained extracts. These contained extracts from the prostate glands of young bulls. Okay, so I guess it was seminal fluid and semen, both. Either way, it's his Red Bull, his red balls, you feel me? Okay, he just went straight to the source. So, yeah, he was, taking injections of semen. So, Morell also prescribed a medicine called testosterone. Okay, so now we got like 4 or 5 testosterone drugs, I don't know how many, plus the meth and the coke, and various other barbiturates. So Morell began to prescribe a medicine called testosterone, a medicine derived from testosterone. Hitler would have himself injected before spending the night with his wife, Eva Braun. Really? Alright, well, there you have it, folks. I have been your host, the wearer of the Reaper's death mark. Do you think that someone could spend their entire life in hell with an implant in their skull and not believe? Do you think that he could start out in some incubation box after his twin brother had his umbilical cord wrapped around his neck and not believe in God? You got it all wrong. I absolutely believe in God. and I absolutely dislike the creator.